What's going on, guys? Cliff and Denny with On Your Own Outdoors. Hey guys, so as you can see behind me, we've got the Talon Predator 750 watt e-bike. Let me tell you about this thing. This dude's bad. So number one, I'm gonna start here, just like everybody else, you know, that follows my page or whatever. If you're a public land hunter like myself, a couple years ago was the first time I seen one of these bikes out. One of the pieces of public lands that I have, you can ride these gated roads back quite a ways. And so anyways, a couple years ago, I started noticing every time I was in there, I was seeing bike tracks. And I was like, man, these dudes are out here pedaling these bikes all the way back here, because it's not easy terrain. And anyways, you know, just like everybody else on Facebook and on the internet, you start seeing these e-bikes pop up. E-bike, 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 e-bike. And I wasn't with the hype, man. I wanted to stay old school. You know, it is what it is. However, I went by Max Prairie Wings, got to talking to Jody again, and they carry this Talon Predator. And so this was a model that I had not heard of. I hadn't heard of the Talons, right? So I get online just like everybody else, and I start researching, and turns out this dude's pretty solid. So as you can see down on the ground behind him, I've got some sheds. It's just for some little eye candy there. Ooh, piece of candy. And so anyways, guys, what I did is I stopped by there a couple weeks ago. I picked this thing up from him, and I took it to Texas, because out in that hill country, that's where you're gonna really find out what something will do. And so anyways, I took this thing through the toughest terrain I could find in Texas in the hill country. And this thing is phenomenal. So I don't know a whole lot about a bunch of other e-bikes. So this is the only one that I've had, right? So anyways, I'm gonna tell you everything I know about this bike, and then you can do your research or whatever. If you get ready to look for one of these Talons, I already name dropped them, and Max Prairie Wings carries them. They're just awesome. I don't know how else to say it. So anyways, what it did for us while we were down there shed hunting. So it literally cut, the place that we were shed hunting was about 78,000 acres, and we were able to make that feel like it was about 10,000 acres because of these e-bikes. You know, you've got places you can't get in on side-by-side. You can't get in on four-wheelers. Already touched on the public land. You know, you've got these public land places that, you know, you're not allowed to have an ATV on and those kind of things. Well, 750 watts in Arkansas will get you in on one of these. Again, I wanted to stick old school, but here I am, and I'm glad, because these things are phenomenal. So the big deal about this bike versus some of the others that I've seen, this bike's got two different modes. It's got a sport mode and an eco mode. If you can see behind me, we'll go over there in a minute. There's a little red button on this bike. And so basically what that bike is, or what that button is rather, is you can hit it and work this bike just like a motorcycle. You don't have to do any pedaling. So when it's in sport mode, it's got 7 gears, 1 through 7, just like your traditional mountain bikes when you were growing up as a kid. Our generation before us, we're big bike guys. Everybody knows that, right? So it's got the 7 gears. You can fluctuate through the gears. With the eco mode, so what it does is basically exactly what it sounds like, right? Just like a car with eco. You, about every third turn, you'll get what I explain is like a, like on a dirt bike, like a power band, right? So say you've got an eco mode and you can just put that thing on one and you're just kind of going through the motions or whatever. Well, about every third rotation, you'll get kind of a little jerk. You know what I mean? It's not extreme, but you'll feel it. And it just kind of keeps you like this and keeps you going. Now, you can put that dude over in sports mode, and now you just basically have your little motorcycle that's shaped like a bicycle. So things that I was concerned about before I took this thing out to Texas, right? So number one with it that I was concerned about is how's it going to do on hills. I think that anybody that would be looking into getting one of these, that would be probably their concern as well, because the stuff that I hunt is not flat terrain. Let me tell you, these bikes are not just made for the Midwest. Check this video out. It's hard to tell. This hill is like this. So as you can see by that video right there, you can tell two things. Number one, I was moving. So I think online it says it'll do 25 miles an hour. It's kind of sketchy in those rocks. I looked down, I was doing 23. I'm sure if I had a bigger hill, I probably could have got it on up to 25 or more time, not really a bigger hill because that hill was steep. But it says it'll do up to 25 miles an hour. I know for sure it'll do 23. The battery time. So if you went and checked this bike right now, it would say that I have 5 miles on this bike. And then if you look at the little odometer, it still says 100%. And I ran mine on sports mode the entire time. You know, we was out there, we was doing a lot of walking. You know, we was putting down on foot, you know, 15 to 20 miles a day. And so I didn't want to pedal anything. So I just rode that dude like a motorcycle. And through the cactuses and everything, man, it was great. Up hills, you know, the benefits of these things as far as your shed hunting goes is those places you can't get with a side-by-side, you can get on these. So, you know, running those fence rows, that's where it came, you know, real big for us. So we can hit those fence rows, just cruise down them. One of the other things that I was kind of concerned about is how slow can you go with, you know, because if you're shed hunting on them, you're not going to be doing this and breaking your neck the whole time, right? So you can maintain about 3 miles an hour, which I don't know if you know what that's like, but yeah, that was probably about 2. But you can maintain about 3 miles an hour. It will give you that availability to kind of keep it slow and keep your pace down so that you can glass. Somewhere else I think this thing's going to be huge for now that I know that it can handle the hills is turkey hunting, man. So if any of you guys are out, you're going to go turkey hunting and that kind of stuff, check one of these dudes out, man. You know, it says 25 to 30 miles per battery life is what it gives you. I can't really speak on that. I can tell you from experience that for 5 to 10 miles on sports mode, you're going to be good to go. It takes about 4 hours to fully charge the battery. One cool thing about this bike versus some of the others is you can see down on the middle of the bike here where the on and off switch is, and there's actually a little deal there. You don't actually have to remove the battery to charge this bike. You can leave the battery plugged in or the battery in, and then you have this little hole right here, and you can just, you know, remove the little cover and plug it in like that. A couple other things that we want to talk about this bike is the availability to change your shocks, right? So on the front end of your bike, located on this fork, you've got some turn knobs. And let me tell y'all straight off the bat, as soon as you get this bike, turn those dudes as loose as they'll go, so that you're getting a little bit of play in that front end. The reason I say that is if you don't, it really works your front end, it works your arms. But if you loosen them off so they'll absorb some of that shock, you're pretty squared away there. So up on top, you've got this little digital dial, and then over here on this left-hand side, you've got 3 different things here. You've got a power button. You can hit your power button. It brings your screen to life, and it gives you basically like a speedometer, your battery voltage, what mode you're in, how far you've gone on this trip, and then your mode. On the left-hand side again, you've got a little eye icon. You click on that eye icon. So one thing I learned about this bike while I had it and I had it out. So obviously you can hold down on the eye icon and it'll get you into the settings where you can get into the settings on the bike. What I want to kind of go through here is you can see the screen there. So as of right now, it says it's on eco mode, right? So the mode is eco. You can come over on this side and hit the plus button, and that boosts you up to 5. So you can go from 0 to 5, and that's basically just like anything else, you know, power modes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so you're on eco. If you come over here and hold down on the plus, that swaps it over in the sport mode, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's sport mode, right? So that kind of goes through the screen there and how you can fluctuate in between that without actually going into the system itself. It's super easy, just click and hold, right? This is what I was talking about a while ago. You've got your gear, so if you want to swap it up, just go like this and then swap it back down. You just take that little lever, click her back around, and take her back down to a lower level. So this button right here, this is what I like to call the go fast button. So basically, you click that button once, and that gives you availability to pedal, and it'll kind of do that thrust that I was talking about earlier. Or you click it again, and then it works just like a motorcycle. And this over here, whoop, you're here trying to go right there. But anyways, that right there is your throttle. It's just like a motorcycle. So if you're wanting to remove your battery to charge, you can come over to the right-hand side. It comes with 2 keys. It's a set, so you can take 1 key off of it, hide it somewhere so you don't lose it like myself, or put it on your key ring, and basically you just unlock the battery box on the other side, and then this piece here comes off, and then you can take your battery in to charge it if you don't want to charge it while it's on its bike. As of right now, what I would do is, like, I just run an extension cord outside and plug it in and leave it on it. The other thing that this bike comes with, we'll talk about here, you can see, is this back rack. You can actually see here where I've already kind of scraped it up. So it's got a maximum capacity, I think, of like 20 pounds or something like that, 25 pounds. I was strapping horns on this one while I was gone. So basically I was sticking horns on there and then just running a bungee cord over the top of it. So if you end up getting one, like I said, guys, go get you a bungee cord. You can kind of do these things how you want to, you know, as far as this goes. But yeah, we're gonna stop talking about it and start riding it. What I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna put a GoPro on my chest, and then I've got 22 acres here. I've got a trail through it. We've got a few little mud holes. I kind of want to test it in some mud. I didn't get to do that in Texas, and so we're gonna kind of test it there. I've got a couple hills in the back, and then we're just gonna ride it through the woods and see how it holds up and see how it does. So y'all stick with me. Let's test this dude out. All right, so we hit the power button right here. Leave it in sport. Go up to 5. So you'll see here I'm not hitting anything. I'm not running any pedals. You just rotate this. Thing works like a motorcycle. Alright. So as you can see, I'm not going to touch the thing over here, but you can see how it kind of takes off, runs itself. Every 3rd turn, it'll kind of take off and give itself some gas. Or I can just kind of run this over here and work the gas like it's a motorcycle. We're gonna go hit the wood line. So like I said, guys, I like to run mine just on the gas itself. I don't like to do the pedal thing. I understand why some would, but I'm not a huge fan. All right, so starting off here, we've got us a little mud hole. Again, you can see it does fine. And you go up a hill, you can kind of give it a turn or two, kind of help it out a little bit. Oh, I got some dust left in there from Texas. As you can see by the terrain, it's not straight up and down. This is where I ride my side-by-side on a normal basis. So we're gonna try something here. Like I said, I've got 22 acres here at the house. We're gonna see if we can use this thing to run bait. So we don't actually bait to hunt here at the house, but we do bait to keep them on the property, and the wife likes to watch them on her cell cams. So, kind of come around here. Got a little hook action in there. Back around on this side, a little bit closer to the back. Like I said, guys, I have not tried this, but this could come in big time if it works, because it'll keep me from having to drive the side-by-side back there or walk the 600 yards back to the feed pile. So it feels like it's secure. All right, so there we go. We got a 25-pound bag of corn mounted on there, ready to roll. All right, so we got the batteries, we've got the corn loaded up, and fixing to take off. See how this goes. I don't know how the extra weight's gonna shift, but anyways, like I said, getting in and out of your area is quiet. I've got it set on sport on 1, so it's not too crazy, and we're off. So what I'm curious about is how it's going to hold up to the bouncing. This thing's like a Cadillac, guys. Give it a little help with the pedals when you go up steep hills. Just kind of keeps you honest. No issues with the mud holes. Watch out for the ruts. And remember, guys, whenever you're pedaling, it gives you that little, what I like to call like a power band. It gives you that little boost. So if you're in the woods, make sure you keep it on a low number so that it's not jerking you off the track or whatever. Because if you're trying to follow a deer trail, or like me right now, trying to stay on this kind of smaller ATV trail, if you've got it up in that Sports 5, it really just wants to go. It doesn't want to take its time. It wants to run. So just keep it down there in that, you know, either Eco 1 or Sports 1. You can kind of, you know, it looks like I'm pedaling, but I'm really just keeping my legs in that motion. So it kind of gives it just a little bit of extra help. We're going up the hills, coming down. I just kind of glide a little bit, help save the battery. And then just kind of fluctuate in between my hand thing over here. You can see me moving it there. And my legs. Oop. Forgot about all the tractor ruts on this side. Even through the ruts, as you can see, having these fat tires, it really helps you keep it stood up, keeps you honest, keeps you straight. I'm even gonna say I'm a little shocked at how well this thing does with the extra 25 pounds on the rack on the back of feed that we have. You can't even tell it's back there. All right, so we're out of four-wheeler trails. Now we're just gonna hit the deer trail. So that's what I think is so awesome about this. You can kind of look down below me where I'm going right now and tell that we're just easing down a deer trail here. And boom, we made it. This is my feed spot. If y'all seen in some of my other videos, it's a spot that I like to bait late season, just to ensure the deer are kind of hanging out on the property and they're not moving off to a neighbor's property. Everything rode well. I'm gonna bag of feed here. Run that down. All right, guys. That's the Talon Predator. That it does exactly what it's supposed to do, guys. It's supposed to make your life easier going into those hard to get to spots, and that's exactly what it's gonna do. It's gonna get you there faster. You're gonna have a whole lot more breath. You get you one of those little XOP small frame stands, sticking on your back, little lone wolf, something like that. You could ride this thing to yonder and beyond. So hey guys, that's all I got for you this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, if you got some hard to get to terrain, go check out these daggum e-bikes. They're awesome. Good hunting, guys. We'll see you later this week.